Republicans have to speak up.
This is the L2C Media Network, and this is the Sports Final. I'm Harry Von Stuttgart, and here's the host, Steve the Baxman Baxley. And no, we don't have the rights to the Masters music, so we can't even play that. Bax, it's yours. Don't you just love farce? Anyway, welcome everybody. Oh, I have to do it this way because it's the Masters. So, hello, friends. Welcome to our Friday show. I got it somewhere. That wasn't right. There you go. Yes, friends, it is. As the great Mark Crawford of WUHQ/WOTV would say on Friday nights at 11:30 when they used to do high school sports. It's Friday night! Sports. And yes, we have sports. What do you think this is? A picnic? Let's get to it, shall we? It's Friday. Be grateful we're not playing that annoying Friday song. Although I wouldn't mind getting the rights to do the Friday TV show thing. You know, they were a little cheesy show that introduced us to some great folks, including some guy named Larry David, who hosted Saturday Night Live. And believe it or not, he became the first guest of a show that was a competitor to Saturday Night Live. History in its strangest form. Speaking of history, yes, sir, let's do it right. Our NFL report takes us to Chicago. Yes, sir. Bub. Let's go to it. The Bears. Go Bears. Looked for an offensive boost early in the season. Yes, they did. By making quarterback change. But the move to Nick Foles hasn't made the offense better. Now, coach, mastermind, and, well, somewhat not on the hot seat yet. Matt Nagy is making another change in an effort to improve a unit that ranks amongst the league's worst in several offensive categories, including playing. Nagy will turn over the Minnesota Vikings. Nagy chose Lazor as the play caller over quarterbacks coach John DeFilippo, who has called plays for several franchises, most recently the Jacksonville Jaguars last season. DeFilippo has also worked with Foles in Jacksonville. It's a little surprising, if not shocking. Lazor, on the other hand, has served as offensive coordinator for 3 teams, but this is his first season with the Bears. He has prior work with Foles back when the starting quarterback threw 27 touchdowns to 2. Chip Kelly. Ooh, interesting tidbit. Chicago ranks 29th in scoring average, 19.8, and ranks in the, shall we say, in the toilet 5 of the NFL in points per drive. The Bears are also second to last in the league in yards per play, 4.8, and dead last, you could say flushed, in the league with 82.3 rushing yards per game, which is one reason for the offense's struggles since Foles took over as the starter in week 4, rank in the bottom 3 in scoring offense, right? Yeah. Now the Bears are looking for any kind of spark to their anemic offense, which has played a pivotal role in the team's 3-game losing streak. Chicago started 5-1 on the year, but the Bears are fighting for their playoff life thanks to an offense that can't get out of its own way. Going to Lazor to freshen up the play calling may be their last hope. If not, then I think we can say Matt Nagy may find that certain burn on his behind you can't cure with preparation H. Because them ain't hemorrhoids. Them's the burns of You're soon going to be fired. Hey, that's one. How about more news? Shall we? Oh, let's shall. Now, you remember last night, and you will remember last night if you are a fan of this broadcast. We've been telling you how the Masters and things that could possibly happen, like a weather delay or a long playoff game, could cause a little havoc in a 65-year television relationship. Well, here's how the schedule will be different on Master Sunday. So, are you ready for this? I think you will be. Surprising. The NFL schedule is going to have a slightly different look this week, and that's because the league has decided to alter a few things due to the fact that the Masters is also being played this weekend. The prestigious golf tournament, as we all know, is usually played on April, but it was pushed back to this weekend to that ugly, disgusting, and disgraceful wretch COVID-19 pandemic. PBS has been the broadcast partner of the Masters for the past 64 years. And this year will be no different. With the final round of the tournament scheduled for Sunday, a few things had to be juggled around so that CBS could air both the Masters and the NFL. So, what's different, you may ask? Well, this. For the first time since at least 1998, CBS will not be airing a single game in that cherished early afternoon slot. With the final round of the Masters scheduled to air until 3 p.m. on Sunday, that means there will not be room to air a 1 p.m. NFL game on CBS. All 5 games, 5 in the early afternoon window, will be aired on Fox. Now, besides Week 17, the National Football League almost never has more 4 p.m. games on a Sunday than 1 p.m. games. But that will be happening this week. All 3 of the CBS games will kick off at 4:05, while the 3 late games on Fox will kick off at 4:25. That means there will be 6 games in the 4 o'clock window compared to just 5 in the 1 o'clock window. Outside of any given Week 17, this is the first time in at least 10 years that there have been more 4 p.m. games than 1 p.m. games during the regular season. Now, here's a shock. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz won't be at an NFL game this week. Nantz will remain at Augusta National as the lead CBS announcer / host at the Masters for the 33rd time. And since he can't be at 2 places at once, he'll be spending his NFL Sunday calling the final round of the Masters on CBS. As for Romo, although he'll have the week off from football, you can almost guarantee that the avid golfer will have CBS on the entire weekend, so he can watch both golf and football, or as we're going to call it on Sunday, golf ball. What does all this mean? Hi! Well, that's simple. You're definitely going to want to keep your television turned to the eyeball this weekend. Not only do they have the Masters on Saturday and Sunday, but a strong NFL slate during the late afternoon on Sunday that includes the 7-2 Bills playing against the 5-3 Cardinals. Now, as for TV coverage of the Masters, you can find out more over on CBSSports.com or themasters.com, including how to stream it and what the featured groups will be each day. After round 1, the Masters, Dustin Johnson, Paul Casey, and Dylan Fratelli share the lead at 7 under par. And we'll tell you what's going to happen. But right now, here's a full rundown of the NFL schedule for week number 10. Let's go to Master Sunday. You got the Bucks at the Panthers, 1 o'clock on Fox. Texans and Browns, 1 o'clock on Fox. You got Washington at the rather Detroit Lions, 1 o'clock on Fox. You got the Jags and the Pack, 1 o'clock on Fox. You got the Eagles against Les Giants, 1 o'clock on Fox. On CBS at 4:05, or as they say, following Masters, should end at 4:05. Hope for good weather. Let's see here. Thank you. Oops. We got. Hey, we got to do this downwards. Bills at the Cardinals. That's the 4:05 game. Chargers at Dolphins. 4:05 on CBS. Oh, let's see. Oh, Broncos and Raiders. 4:05 on CBS. 4:25 games are the Seahawks at the Rams. On Fox, Bengals at Steelers. 4:25 on Fox. On the network of the multicolored bird, it is the Ravens at the Patriots. And on Monday night, the Vikings versus the Bears on ESPN. There you go. Delight in the Week 10-ness. That is the NFL. Let's keep going. It's 11:46. Wow, we're coming on strong here. That's right. I'm feeling a little strong, feeling a little better. Not much better, just a little better. Okay, in NBA news, we got two good NBA news things to give you. But first, we got this NFL story we want to give you, of course. Calvin Johnson knew long before anyone else that the 2015 season was going to be his last. Johnson, a 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, a member of the NFL's 2010 All-Decades team, was actually planning on calling it a career after the 2014 season. Johnson has spent his entire 9-year career with the Detroit Lions. Went to Georgia that offseason to share his plans with his father. Sitting on his father's couch, Johnson, who was just 29 at the time, laid out the reasons why he felt that it was time to walk away from the game. Let's see if you all think it's similar to somebody else. With Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, available to watch on Showtime Basketball YouTube. I was like, man, Dad, I'm done. I can't do it no more. They're blowing up the team. My body is aching. I don't have my range of motion like I used to. I can't get out. I can't dig like I used to. I just don't feel it. I just don't have the love for it because I was just always hurting. I just don't have it. Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Johnson's father, using just a few words, convinced his son to delay retirement for a little bit longer. Johnson, quote, he looked at me and was like, you think you can do it one more time? I sat there and paused for a second, and once paused for a second, he was like, all right, you can do it one more time, end quote. With that, Johnson returned for what would be the final season of a career that will almost surely end up being on display in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is eligible for the first time in 2021. Now, during his final season, the man known during his playing days as Megatron was selected to his 6th consecutive Pro Bowl after catching 88 passes for 1,214 yards and 9 touchdowns. He retired as the franchise's all-time leader with 731 receptions for 11,619 yards and 83 touchdowns. Johnson, who led the NFL in receiving twice, amassed an NFL single-season record of 1,964 receiving yards in 2012. Now, Johnson, who retired at the age of 30, joined Hall of Fame running back Barry Sanders as Lions icons who walked away from the game still in their prime. Like Sanders, the lack of team success contributed to Johnson's decision to walk away when he did. During his 9 years in Detroit, Johnson, who was part of the Lions' 2008 team that went 0-16, played on just 2 winning teams. Those teams clinched playoff berths before suffering first-round exits. Johnson said, it was unfortunate. You can't help but have the feeling like we obviously didn't maximize the talent that we had, and all anybody can do is point at themselves and say, what could I have done better? I could have had maybe 2,000 yards or 1,500 yards one year, and that could have helped. Or maybe there was a ball that I should have caught. Just the simple fact that we didn't maximize the talent. You got me on offense. You got Matt Stafford. You got Ndamukong Suh on defense. You got some beast all around the team in key positions that you should be able to have a winning team. We just didn't have the winning culture, though. There's a lot more that goes into it than having those key players. Gotta agree. Johnson said that had he had the option to play for a contender, he may have continued playing beyond the 2015 season. In fact, Johnson said that Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers often lobbied for him to swap his Lions blue for the Packers cheesy colors when the division foes played each other. Johnson continued, whenever we played Green Bay, whenever Aaron Rodgers was over on our sideline, he would say, "Hey, man, you need to come on over here." I said, "Hey, I wish I could." Johnson's had a tumultuous relationship with the team after the Lions forced him to pay back a portion of his signing bonus from the 8-year extension he signed in 2012. Johnson said, "That's the reason for the rift between the team and I. I had to pay some money back. The reason I don't have any involvement with them is because of that. You can't make me pay money back and then still want me to come around. It doesn't work like that." End quote. Now, while his relationship with the Lions could be better, Johnson, now 35, appears to be a man at peace with his career. Johnson, who's a father of 2 young kids, said that he is keeping himself busy in retirement. And we couldn't agree more. Time flies when you're having fun. And right now, Johnson's having a ball. Meanwhile, the Lions suck. There you go. That's right. More sports. More fun. More excitement. Thank you. Now, in the NBA, oh boy. Is it not do that report again? Now, earlier this month, the NBA finalized plans to bring the 2020-2021 season on December 22nd, nearly a month earlier than expected. Now, while there were clear financial incentives to do so, the move has created a frantic environment around the league as everyone scrambles to get ready. Now, there'll be only 34 days from the 2020 draft until the start of the season, and less than 2 weeks before the first day of free agency and the first day of training camp. No one quite knows how condensing an entire offseason into the span of a few weeks is going to work, and it certainly doesn't help that the executives around the league are still in the dark about many key aspects. Some have claimed that they're learning about the league's plans via the media and accused the league of making things up as they go along. This from ESPN. One Western Conference executive told ESPN, "I'd love to be able to tell you something, but I don't know anything. I found out everything from the media." One team president said, "We know it's hard and they're working on a lot of details. They are listening to a lot of feedback from all of us, but at times we feel like we're in the dark, and that can get frustrating." Well, as we all know, trying to plan a season in the middle of a pandemic is obviously extremely challenging, and it's understandable that plans can change on the fly. Still, it's a pretty bad look if executives are actually learning about how things are going to operate from the media, social and otherwise, rather than the league office. In any case, the point here is that this ESPN report into the day-to-day lives of the front office personnel shows just how much of a challenge the early return is going to be for teams, both on and off the court. Now, the front offices still aren't entirely clear on all the protocols, and once things are in place, they'll be going straight from the draft into free agency if they want to have a full roster in place by the time training camp starts. They really only have a few days to sign players. Shocking. And this quote in particular reveals the possibility of one hell of a chaotic offseason. An Eastern Conference executive telling, quote, "Everything is happening last minute in a short period of time. There's not much time to think through things," end quote. Now, as for the actual on-court product, the combination of a quick turnaround from last season and a condensed offseason means it's likely many teams will use the opening portion of the season has an extended training camp. As one coach said, there's going to be a lot of learning on the fly. Then, of course, there's the fact that everyone from team owners to the players is trying to navigate a deadly pandemic. All told, it seems we're in for the most fascinating season in recent memory. Hopefully, everyone will be safe and will be able to stay safe and healthy along the way. This is going to be a fun season, don't you think? Mm-hmm. And our little NBA reportage takes us. You remember last night we told you that Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston, reportedly. Well, there may be a place that will welcome him if he's interested. As the rumor mill for the NBA offseason goes into full swing, the draft is set for November 18th. Free agency opens 2 days after that. And the floodgates on player movement and significant roster revamping could open any day. The Houston Rockets, first glance, would not appear to be a team with much roster flexibility, so instead they shook things up off the court. They cut ties with longtime GM Daryl Morey and coach Mike D'Antoni. The latter was replaced by Steven Silas, not Silas, Silas. Said the Rockets will aim to be less predictable moving forward. He is referring to Houston's paint-by-numbers offense approach that makes no secret of the spot on the court from which they're trying to score. Might there be room for a little unpredictableness with the roster? There have been reports floating around that Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston, with several teams interested in former league MVP. The Hornets emerged as one potential suitor, and on Tuesday, Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer said on the Mismatch podcast that surprisingly, the Los Angeles Clippers and New York Knicks could be interested in trading for the Houston Star. In regards to the Knicks, Mark Stein of the New York Times also reported that New York is willing to take on the remaining $130 million of Westbrook's contract and would immediately make him the centerpiece of their team. Silas and new GM Raphael Stone both insist the Rockets remain all in as it pertains to the championship pursuit. But hanging around in the background of this team, given that it has zero cap space and basically no draft picks or young assets in which other teams would be overly interested, is a potential for James Harden to be traded at peak value. And if Harden is even a long shot candidate to be moved, you know the Rockets would get off Westbrook if given a chance. Now the question is who would take him on with just under $85 million on his contract over the next 2 years with a $46 million player option in 2023. For the Knicks, you'd have to be desperate enough to do that. Same as a potential trade for Chris Paul would be, but it wouldn't make them anywhere near relevant in the Eastern Conference. Now the Clippers, there's the rub. And the simple fact is that anytime you start talking about 3 all-NBA level players on the same team, assuming Paul George wouldn't be a part of any potential deal, which would be the dumbest move in Clippers history, which is saying something. Antennas go up, but Westbrook's flaws won't go away just because he goes to another team. He still can't shoot, and he's not going to be the primary initiator over Kawhi Leonard and George. His off-ball presence would jam spacing the way he does in Houston. Now, the theory, Clippers could include Ivica Zubac in the trade and open up the lane for Westbrook's penetration, particularly off secondary offense. But just to make the money work on a deal like this would be quite a hill to climb, and the Clippers have climbed many a hill. Clippers would almost certainly have to include Lou Williams, Landry Shamet, along with Zubac and Patrick Beverley. Now, those are 4 good players whom, in the aggregate, do a lot of things Westbrook can't. Namely, play all NBA level defense, Beverley, shoot at a high clip, Williams and Shamet. Clippers could perhaps try to work a more, shall we say, complicated trade by signing and trading restricted free agent Montrezl Harrell. That would be hard cap for the Rockets, which is a problem. The Clippers shouldn't even go for Westbrook. He was borderline great for Houston before the hiatus. He can still dominate with his pace and half-court attacking, but the theory of his irrefutable talent and the actual application and subsequent benefit are becoming increasingly different things. Westbrook hasn't put a team closer to a championship since he split with Kevin Durant. He's not a one-man team carrier, as evidenced by the ceiling OKC hit post Kevin Durant, even when Westbrook and George were teamed up. The Rockets were considerably worse with Westbrook than they were with Paul. Sure, in theory, he'd be a third wheel in LA, and indeed, there is always a certain intrigue to the possibility of big names joining forces. But if you think that a deal like this will ever get done with the Clippers, stop sniffing airplane glue. The Knicks are a good possibility. The Rockets would move off Westbrook given a decent offer. It won't happen with the Clips. If the Knicks are desperate, and believe me, they are, they'll get it done fast. The draft is close by. We'll keep an eye on all this. Stick around. Okay, we are at midnight. Actually, 2 minutes past midnight. And folks, tonight on the Rakita Law channel here on YouTube, have we got something special for you. It is, well, how can we say this? It's with Nick Rakita and how good of a potpourri or potpourri it is, we will discuss. And by the way, if we have time, I've got to do a little prediction with you folks about Jeopardy. But tonight, Nick Rakita, the humble Mr. Magic that he is, the humblest of all Minnesota lawyers, we'll talk about Commissar Fossey, and here is how Trump can still win and refund the police. Those are his topics tonight on a very unusually nice and outrageous Rakita Law, on a nice but outrageous law splaining the interwebs on the Rakita Law channel, only on YouTube. That's right, it's YouTube. Oh, lordy. But I'm going to say it. Now, a lot of people think, Ken Jennings would be a great Jeopardy host. There's only one flaw in that. He's already signed a deal along with the other two greatest of all times from the Jeopardy show, Hail Alex Trebek in memory, to be a part of the ABC version of The Chase, which is not going to follow its British cousin. It's going to follow more the Game Show Network version. We all know how long that stood. Anyway, some people think LeVar Burton should host. Why? Because he done Reading Rainbow. Some even suggest, Robin Roberts. But if Sony Pictures Entertainment were smart, they know who to get. My pick is, of course, Jeff Probst. Before all you guys go and say, Steve, he wouldn't do it. Au contraire, mon frere, let me tell you why. Jeff Probst has an inside shot. Remember the olden day of VH1? And they hired Jeff Probst to host a game show. You want to know what that game show was called? Rock and Roll Jeopardy. Remember? Anyway, I'm giving him the lead on this. Why? Why not? He's got the gravitas. He hosted Rock and Roll Jeopardy He knows the rules. Yeah, and I know you're going to say, yeah, but what about Dan Patrick? He knows the rules too. He hosted Sports Jeopardy. This is true. But Jeff Probst has that Jeopardy mark. I know Dan Patrick does too. But Jeff Probst did his on a network, VH1. Dan Patrick did his on Crackle, which I don't think exists anymore. But I don't even think they make Sports Jeopardy anymore. But I'm still saying Jeff Probst will do it. The dark horse is, of course, a twin bill. Tom Bergeron and what's the other dark horse? This Pat Kiernan from Spectrum New York One News. He hosted sort of a Jeopardy type show for, again, VH1. But you know who would be the wild card in all this? And I mean a total wild card. Think of this. He may not want the gig, but these are true long shots. One's a wild card, and the other one is a true long shot. Get this name on you here. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Think about it. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He hosts the revamped Cosmos, done excellently by Seth MacFarlane. He does a podcast, smart as a whip. But if everybody still thinks LeVar Burton would be good as a host, try this name on for size. Brent Spiner. And with that, we say, let's stop talking about Jeopardy. Let's wait to see what they get to do. We get to do this. That's right. It's time for a little bit of college football chemin de fou. Oh boy. Okay, we're still here. Alrighty, let's get you with some football scores. By the way, okay. Oh boy, it's going to be fun. Now we've already gone through the palava. Okay, did anyone play on Friday? I don't think so. Let's see. Iowa defeated Minnesota 35-7. Florida Atlantic defeated Florida International 38-19. 7th-ranked Cincinnati over East Carolina 55-17. Boise State over Colorado State 52-21. Ball State over Michigan 38-31. Central Michigan beat up Northern Illinois 40-10. West Michigan defeated Toledo 41-38. Ohio defeated Akron 24-10. Kent State defeated Bowling Green 62-24. Buffalo defeated Miami of Ohio 42-10. The Saturday game should be fun. And once again, we got to give you all the postponements. So let's do this. Postponements and cancellations. Here we are. Number 15, Coastal Carolina and Troy, postponed. Number 12, Georgia and Missouri, postponed. North Texas UAB, postponed. Rice and Louisiana Tech, postponed. Memphis and Navy postponed. Number 1, Alabama and LSU postponed. Canceled, Gardner-Webb and Charlotte. Number 3, Ohio State and Maryland. Air Force and Wyoming. Utah and UCLA, and California and Arizona State. Those are your postponed and canceled list. So instead of a big day of college football, we'll just call it a medium size. The Masters will be airing early. In fact, I don't think CBS has a night game tonight. So, not tonight, but Saturday night. So enjoy the mystery. And let's give you the Masters report. And I'm okay. Don't forget, we got the rabbi tomorrow with his predictions. Yes, it should be fun. Okay. Round 2 was called due to darkness, but will resume at 7:30, with round 3 expected to begin at 10:30. The goal at Augusta National is to complete the third round on Saturday. As for arrested contenders, let's do this. We have a tie for leaderboard: Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Abraham Ansir, and Cameron Smith, 9 under. We have a tie at 5th between John Rahm, Patrick Cantlay, and Sunjae Im at -8. Tied at 8th, Justin Rose, Danny Willett, and 4 others at -7. Tied for 14th with Xander Schauffele, Paul Casey, and 3 others. 19th, Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, and Charles Howell III. Tied for 22nd, Tiger Woods, 4 others. 27th place tie, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and 5 others. 61st place tie, Bryson DeChambeau, and 7 others. And there you go. On the golf side of life, there is always masterful fun. 13 minutes past the hour of midnight, and I'm just going for a little swig. See if I can't bring things up. Excuse me. Man. Okay, by the way, there was a big event. Well, I wouldn't say big event, but we have a baseball. We have some baseball news for you, and history made with the Miami Marlins. And here it is. The Marlins have made history by naming Kim Nugg, Kim Ng, the Kim Ng, their new general manager on Friday. The team announced she is the first female general manager in baseball history, and the first female general manager in the North American Men's Pro Sports League. She's also first Asian American general manager in baseball history. The 51-year-old is more than qualified to be a general manager. She started her career as an intern with the White Sox in 1990 and was hired by the team full-time the next year. Then was named assistant director of baseball operations in 95. Inge left Chicago in 96 and spent 97 overseeing transactions as the American League's director of waivers and records. In 98, Yankees GM Brian Cashman hired her as an assistant general manager, making her the youngest person to hold the position at the time. She won 3 World Series titles with New York before leaving in 2001. when she joined the Dodgers as an assistant general manager. She left Los Angeles in 2011 and became MLB Senior Vice President of Baseball Operations in the Commissioner's office. So we wish her well and good luck. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to pause a little bit. We will return shortly. At least I'm hoping. So I'm going to take a pause for a moment. And I'll be back with you shortly. Thank you.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm gonna check my pulse for a moment.
You look at the what?
I'm gonna check my pulse.
Sounded all right.
Is my face okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You look like you're tired though.
I'm sort of a little stuck here. You know.
You need to get up and walk around a bit.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Might help.
Okay.
Did you drink any soda or anything?
Yeah, I drank a little 7-Up.
Huh?
I drank a little 7-Up.
That could be it too. But you look fine. You sound fine.
Okay, I'm just gonna check my pulse just in case.
What's it say?
63 beats per minute.
Huh?
63 beats per minute.
That's perfect. Good God.
According to
know how
Tri-City
many
Medical
people would
Center,
like that.
the normal range is between 50 and 100 beats per minute. If your resting heart rate is above 100, it's called tachycardia. Below 60, and it's called bradycardia.
Your heart rate was what?
It was I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. I'm going back on the air here.
Is that what she said?
Yeah. Okay, we're back. If you're wondering what I was doing, I was checking my pulse rate. Like I said, I'm getting a little better, not a lot. So my apologies if I happen to feel a little off. Okay. Where are we here? Okay.
Does that feel better?
Yeah. Okay. We're going to check awful announcing, see if there's anything to report on from there. By the way, tomorrow, college game day is live. Fox's Adam Amin has revealed he had COVID-19, explained his absence from the NFL broadcast for the past 2 weeks. Jim Nantz says he wants to call the Masters until he's 75. Well, he's too young. Okay. Hall of Fame baseball writer claims his National League MVP vote for Cubs pitcher Ryan Tepera was an accident. Aww. And some news. The Weeknd will be the Super Bowl 55 halftime performer. What a shocker. Okay. And that is from our friends at Awful Announcing. I'm just going to say hi to everyone. Please keep sending hi to all my friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Keep sending the good vibes, the prayers, and the best wishes. I'm going to need them. Okay, and it is time. We got the scoreboard. Are you feeling a little... anyway.
You got all those lights on.
That's what it is.
And the furnace fish shut off.
With the scoreboard.
Take it easy. Take some deep breaths. Just take it, leave.
Okay, let's get the scoreboard here. In the Euro League in basketball, Real Madrid defeated Crvena Zvezda Mountains 73-67. Anadolu Efes over Panathinaikos 80-77. Bayern over Valencia 90-76. Zenit Petersburg over Lyon Villeurbanne 66-53. And in the Euro Cup, Gran Canaria defeated Trento 71-61. In hockey, in the Extraliga in the Czech Republic, Vikovice over Sparta Prague in overtime 5-4. Trinik 5-2 winner over Olomouc. Plzeň over Litvinov 2-1. Ziln over Pardubice 3-2. Kometa Brno over Malada Bolsov 3-2. Liberec over Mountfield HK 4-1. In Finland, Sot over Hämeenlinna 3-2. IFK Helsinki 4-2 winner over Kalpa. Zerkrit over Salpa 3-2. Kuku over Pelicans 5-2. Ilves over Tapra 5-4. Karpat over Vasen Sports 3-2. In Japanese baseball, right now in the third inning, the Yokohama Bay Stars and the Yomiuri Giants tied at 0. In the playoffs in Japan, in the fifth, the Fukuoka Silverhawks are down 2 over the Chibalade Marines 3-1. And in the Korean Baseball Organization playoffs, the Doosan Bears beat the KT Wiz Swang 2-0. 2-4-0 for the Bears, 0-5-2 for the Swan. Kim Min-ju for the Bears gets win. He's 1-0. Jo Hun Woo for the Swan gets a loss. He's 0-1. And that, on a nutshell, is the sports story for tonight. And, well, that was a masterful broadcast. And hopefully everything will be bright and beautiful tomorrow. I say hopefully. It's going to be great, and hope, knock on wood, we'll see you tomorrow night at 11:30 or 11:35 with college football and all sorts of fun sports. I'm Steve, the Baxman Baxley. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network. May your favorite teams always be winners. Good night, America, wherever and whomever you are. Thank you for watching, and good night, everybody, and keep those prayers and good vibes coming. I'm really going to need them. Thank you.